felt that I was driving all the kind of fans there, and I realized that I should be doing it myself, because I walked away from that show with less than £100. When I came back to doing music in 2016, I felt I had more skills and knowledge to do a lot of it myself. I just want to connect with people, and I feel it's not only the right way, but it's what I want to do. He saw me playing guitar, and as soon as he saw me, he grabbed my guitar and he threw it against the wall and said, he said, you'll never make it in music.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Leigh Podcast, and it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you all Kai. Now, Kai is the lead singer. He's the front man of Japanese but London-based rock band Esprit D'Air. And Kai, I just want to say first off, thank you so very, very much for doing this. It's an absolute pleasure to be talking with you today.
Likewise, thank you for having me.
It's so we've known each other for a good few years now, and I've always found you as quite as a fascinating sort of enigma in many ways, because I'm always fascinated by people that are very high functioning, and you have a very high functioning mind, because I know this because we've worked together, and I think I understood this when we first met, and I think we first met at rehearsal studios, and I remember saying to you, we introduced ourselves, and you said, "Oh, are you in a band?" I said, "Sure, yeah, I'm a New Device." And I said, "Are you in a band?" And you were like, "Yeah, I'm in a band called Esprit D'Air." And I was like, "Okay, are you playing much?" And you were like, "Yeah, I'm just about to go on tour." And I was like, "Oh, where are you touring?" And you just gave me a string of dates, and I was like, "Whoa, like who booked all these dates for you?" And you were like, "Oh, I did." And I was like, "What?" So I mean, how? And then you sort of took me through. I mean, you sort of gleaned over that process, and you were like, "Oh no, I don't really deal with promoters anymore." I mean, how did you? When did you decide to take on such a monumental task, like as like doing like your own booking and tour promotion?
I guess it started actually back in 2017. I had a show who I did with a promoter, and we sold it out, but I felt that I was driving all the kind of fans there, and I realized that I should be doing it myself, because I walked away from that show with less than £100 for 200 something show. So I decided to just book my own tour, because I wanted to tour. So I contacted venues, and I started booking them and promoting the same way I did before, except on my own, and it just works out. It just makes more sense,
It does when you look at it from a financial standpoint. You're like, well, hang on.
Sure.
I mean, did you just feel like, was it the sort of like feeling that hard done by, that you were just like, screw this, I put in all the effort and I'm coming away with almost nothing?
I mean, not every promoter is that way, I guess, but I felt that's happened so many times, and I felt I couldn't even pay the musicians I was working with, or even rehearsing. It didn't make sense. So and because I found out I can do it myself, I thought, why not? I'll learn on the way how to do better and do it myself.
Well, how easy was it for you to pick up those skills? Were you and how were you doing it? Was it mostly online? So you were searching out like your like audiences in towns?
Yeah, so yeah, it was all online. My background uh, before I started Esprit D'Air restarted Esprit D'Air in 2016, I worked as a digital marketer. So I picked up a lot of skills in, um, you know, on marketing. So I had a long break from music. I don't know if you know, the band started in 2010, and we disbanded, pretty much in 3 years. And during that time between 2013 and 2016, I worked just regular jobs. So I just in marketing and learning all these things. So when I came back to doing music in 2016, I felt I had more skills and knowledge to uh, do a lot of it myself, and to go without a label and kind of manage everything basically.
What? Okay, so that to me sounds like, I mean, the freedom that you must have, but there is a trade off because as a musician who's been in the game a long time, it almost sounds like a bit of an epic nightmare, if I'm honest with you, just because there's so much which is on your shoulders because you've got, I mean, so you've got, so you already talked about booking your own tours. That means you've got to develop relationships with promoters, with venues. You've got to work out high costs. Like you've got marketing costs. How you've got to build ads in. Where do you advertise? Is it Facebook and
Instagram and TikTok and Facebook.
yeah? And so you've got all that. Then you've got who sorts out logistics for your touring.
I do most of it, and then when it gets too much, I ask a friend who helps with the tour management itself.
Okay, and then you've got I don't know, photo shoots. Then you've got
Yeah,
video shoots. Then you've got I mean studio time, and on top of everything, you've got to try and actually find some time to
I know.
practice with a band, and then and write songs, and
Yeah,
somewhere eat and sleep.
yeah,
So where I mean, you always look so pristine and in such good nick, and like I'm just like, how is this guy? Is this guy a human? So where I guess where do you find it all easy? Does it come naturally to you, or
I don't find it. I mean, in a way, it has become natural because I've just been, working on a band nonstop for years now, and I I don't feel I have much break. I don't get to enjoy leisure activities as much as anyone else, in the way that um, I'm just working every hour of the day, trying to make things work, and um, yeah, it has felt that way, especially with the album release coming, and with the show. I've just been working all the time.
do you enjoy? But see, this is the thing. This is what I find with a lot of people who
Mm,
are very high functioning, is that they really enjoy. I don't necessarily say the struggle, but it's creating a goal, and it's their own goal, and then they move towards it. Is that the thing that sort of drives you? And because I mean, I don't do a lot of leisure activities either, but I smile and I laugh every single day because I'm playing music.
mm,
And I mean,
mm,
right now, like this is kind of my job. Like this is what I do, and I'm talking to a fellow musician, and this is part of what I'm doing. But I'm I'm on a high right now because I'm doing what I love doing, and this is part of what I do. So is it? Do you love it and hate it at the same time?
yeah, I think it's a bittersweet relationship with my work. So I love creating music. Obviously, that's my favorite thing about it. But there are a lot of small things and little things I need to do that, maybe are not so enjoyable. Um, there's always a trade-off. what I really love is that I'm able to also connect with my fans more on a personal level. Like I'm more direct. I'm always responding to comments on social media, and sometimes my messages, and I find that really cool, that I do that, rather than someone who manages the page. Because then I feel like I'm building a connection with them, and I get to know my fans more, and how my music has affected them, and and the other way around, actually. So that's really cool. Yeah.
Do you think that's the way things are sort of going now, where fans want that connection with the artist more so than back in the day with like, hey
Oh,
man, I'm the guitarist with Mystique, and they sort of and they don't, they sort of remain in the shadows, whereas now artists, it feels like people are more accessible.
definitely. Yeah. So, obviously back then, all our idols were just on TV and magazines, and now we're just, we're able to have these channels where we can communicate directly, and, engage with everybody in uh and I think that's the right way. I don't see myself as someone who's like untouchable, like a god or anything. I just want to connect with people, and I feel you know it's not only the right way, but it's what I want to do.
Yeah, I think that especially since we've been through this pandemic, I found that people have been very, very lonely, and people have been very, very
Mm,
sad. And I felt
hmm.
that my job within everything is to, I've always said that because I live stream most nights, my job is to like lower people's cortisol, and just to make people have that time of sort of relief. And I feel that we are stepping into a new phase, a new era of the music industry, and going independent. I see so many artists doing it now. But what is it from your point of view? What is it you've seen bands? I guess where do you think bands' weak points are in their, say, strategies?
um Good question. I
It's just
I
that you're
spent
doing a lot. It's just you do a lot, don't you? And you do a lot for
mm,
your bands, and sorry, for your band, and you've honed all these skills. But do you think that there's things that people should be, areas that people should be focusing on?
yeah, I guess, you know when I see a lot of new bands release things, um they may not have a strategy in place, uh, in terms of marketing. So they release something, and they hope for the best. They don't find the time to um, plan things in advance, finding the target audience that work with their music. So they release something, and it won't get any views, it won't get streamed. Um, so I think there's a lot of that, but I can understand that in a way, because um, those are they just want to make music. They don't think
Yeah,
about the marketing. you know
yeah.
um, with me, I kind of think about both, and um, you know while I enjoy both, I I kind of feel for them too, because in the end, I just want to make music. I don't want to just promote myself all the time too. But
It's so interesting because like, so we've worked together in the past, and
mm,
on campaigns, and it's
mm,
fascinating seeing you work that way. And then in the next breath, I would see a post come up of you just jamming, and then just shredding at like lightning speed, and I'm like, and then it's just I don't want to compare you to Howard Hughes because he was a bit crazy, but you know how he would be making movies, and then he'd be making airplanes, and it was just like this. You've got these parts of your brain which really do work in, and
mm,
then, but not only that, you've got physical skills as well. So it's not just the mental skills, it's physical skills.
Mm.
I mean, when did you realize that? Because, ladies and gentlemen, Kai's vocal range is pretty insane. Like it's really
Hey,
out there. And
you too.
I appreciate that. But like, I mean, I've heard you sing, and I'm going to be singing with you
You're
very,
great.
very soon. I'm really looking forward to
Yes.
that. Can you start my heart, baby? It's
I
going to be
look forward
amazing.
to it.
Really looking forward to it. But so I mean, I'm just interested where you to sort of see where did you was this something that you found from an early age with your voice? When did you feel that you found your vocal range?
Um, I I never had any training. I never had any vocal training. So everything I kind of learned, I learned from just singing at home. So I actually I was in my childhood, I was home alone a lot, so I could have my music really loud and I'll sing along to it. So I always had Iron Maiden on, so I always try and sing those
Sure.
notes
Yeah.
every day. And I guess that's where it came from. Big fan of Maiden. I think many people know that who follow me.
What age are we talking about? What age are we talking about here?
15 actually,
Okay.
so quite 14, 15.
Were you singing at all before then, or?
Just very casually. So I just sing along, like I say, to music I listen to, but never seriously. I never thought about being in a band until I was 16. So, okay, maybe not that long. So
Talk me through your first band experience, because what was that like? Did you sort of, did you play guitar by then? When did you start
yeah,
playing guitar?
I only play guitar. Guitar was, I think, my first instrument. So yeah, around 15 years old too. So I discovered my love for metal music, and Number of the Beast being my first metal album I loved. And I just wanted to learn how to play. And I had a teacher, so he taught me a lot of blues, so a lot of Eric Clapton and Gary Moore and things like that. So I had a good foundation to work with my guitar. I think it's important to always start with blues as a foundation, because it's what metal and rock came from. So that was very cool. I remember I used to practice 10 hours a day on my guitar.
10 hours a day. Did you get any
Yeah.
problems at all ever, like with tendonitis or anything? Because I know guitarists who have had.
No, not really.
That's good.
I slowly built up to that. So I'll start an hour a day, and then suddenly just I skipped a lot of school to play guitar. I didn't have a great time in school.
I wish I had the guts to skip school to play guitar. It was all I thought about when I was in school. Once I started learning, I wish I had the same connection with the metal bands that you did, because because I loved bands like Green Day and Nirvana, so I was sort of stunted for like ages. Like you were like, Iron Maiden, I'm gonna learn Iron Maiden, and it's that much more difficult. I was like, I'm happy just playing 3 flipping chords and that's it. That's where I sort of stuck, and I remain to this day to being sort of like I'm not a terrible guitarist, but I'm like a mid-level guitarist. Like there's no way, like I listen to the riffs that you write now. I mean, you listen to how you talk, and you're very softly spoken. You're very, very polite, etc. And then you turn on an Esprit D'Air song, and there's some brutal stuff kicking in there, like behind that lovely smile and everything. You've got some. Do you feel that is there like anger coming out in your music? Where does that sort of stuff come from?
I guess, I had a really rough past. When I told you I skipped school, I didn't really have a great time there. My parents also didn't give me a good time. So I remember my dad, he caught me skipping school, and he saw me playing guitar. And as soon as he saw me, he grabbed my guitar and he threw it against the wall and said, "You will." He said, "Yeah, you'll never make it in music." So, in a way, I want to prove him wrong, but I think I'm past that point where I care about what he thinks of me.
Yeah, right.
And I just want to do what I want to do.
Are you still in contact with your parents? Oh, sorry, with your dad? I know about like with your mother.
Yeah.
That was very difficult for you.
My mother passed, but my dad, not so often. I told him about my show in London. I told him where I was playing, and he said, "Oh, what a small venue." So I'm never going to live up to his expectations, I think.
I really would encourage you to let go of things like that, because I've seen many many relationships like this, and it doesn't have to. It can be spouses, ex-spouses, it can be friends, and I think it hurts the most when it is a close relative like that who we want. We had that ties to our childhood to seek their approval, and nothing we ever do will be good enough. And I don't actually think in the end I don't even think it's worth taking personally. I really don't, because it's nothing to do with you. It's there's something like that they're holding on to for some reason. I mean, for God's sake, you're his son. And I mean, do you think there was something? Do you think there's maybe something cultural going on there with music and what he maybe wanted you to do?
I guess he really wanted me to have a normal job, and I really didn't. I tried. That's when I left doing music. I tried to do what my parents wanted. My dad especially.
What was that?
Just a regular 9-to-5 job.
I mean, in anything particular, did they sort of?
No, just one that gives you money, and I'm not really. It's not that it's not something I care too much about. I just want to do something that means something to me. So making music. So
was this all happening? Where did you spend your childhood?
Oh, in London. So,
in London, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And did your dad work a lot?
Yeah, he often left me alone. So, I didn't really get to see any of them. So, it's okay. I mean,
yeah. No, I get it, man. Like our painful childhoods, and like, I mean, I remember my mother. I love her to death. But the only time she's come see me, the only time she was really interested in seeing me play was when we were playing with Bon Jovi, and she was like, "Cool, I'll come down." I was like, "Will you, Mum? Okay, great, of course you will." But I mean, my dad's been like the sort of real push. Well, he's been the most interested, I guess. But I've known a lot of musicians whose parents have had the same. I guess stance on music, and I mean, even now, I think these last 2 years have been some of the most successful in my career. My mum will still be like, "Are you all right, Daniel? Do you need any money?" I'm like, "Mum, it's okay. Like, I'm all right." That's it. Maybe it's just their way that they just think music and they think destitute. It's just linked to it.
Yeah.
I do want to touch on something that's just which links to your character. I think, because I've seen like looked at your past and Esprit D'Air, it stopped, and then you started up again, and you did a whole bunch of stuff, and then I remember seeing you at a rehearsal, and you came down, and it was I still remember it, and it was really heartbreaking actually, because you looked you looked very lost, And I was like, what's happened? And you said, I'm not doing music for a while. I'm only coming in to play with you guys just for this one show, and then I'm not doing anything. I was like, what the hell has happened? And I think you know what I'm talking about. Do you want to
Yeah.
explain what happened?
Yeah. It was only 2 years ago. I was burgled. My laptop was stolen, and it had the album I was working on, which is the album that's coming out on Friday.
Do you know, I love the fact that it's there. I love that it's there. That's the most amazing thing. Yes, that's so great. It's so great. It's the best thing.
So yeah, all the progress I did on that album, I started in 2018. I was working on my new songs. I recorded at least half of the album already at that point, and I lost everything. It felt really heartbreaking to, a lot of work was put into recording and, writing everything. And I thought, and I got so tired of it. I thought I just wanted to take a break for a while and kind of, I don't know, when something like that happens to you, you just, what would you do?
I really don't know. I've had things stolen from me in the past. I've lost. I think some of them as a musician, as a creative, I've not had anything. Well, no one has come in and stolen anything. I don't want to bring that into the world, touch wood, but no one has come in and stolen anything from my apartment. But I've lost hard drives to corruption. I've lost mobile phones. I've lost dictaphones full of songs, like ideas that really I really believed in, and that's been some of the most. If I think back to it now, it's the most gut wrenching thing, because you've lost. I don't want to say people call the songs their babies, but at least your creations.
It was my life.
There you go.
I lost my life.
And you poured so much of your life and energy. You poured life force into it as well. And you've only got to listen to your music to understand just the passion that you have for what you do, and the fact that you are taking on so much within the project. It's not like you're handing over, you're divvying out like masses of jobs to everyone else. Most of it comes down to you. And I don't know. I think I've every time things like that have happened, I've always kind of gone into myself and had to ask the question, what is good about this? It's a horrible question to ask, because it's such a bitter pill, and you don't want. You're like, nothing is good, nothing is good, and you don't want to see anything that anything good is going to come out of it. But I mean, where did you find the strength to get up, or when did you find the strength to get up? And because it's here now. So there was a turning point. There was a point in this time where you were like, when you came out of the woods and you stood up and went, I'm going to get on with it and get it done.
I think maybe because my passion for music will always be there, even if things put me down. I stopped for a year, but when I came back to it, I felt I had all this energy again to do everything again after not doing it. And I was just itching to do it all again. So the first song I started doing was Leviathan. So that was one of the songs I lost from the laptop, and I started recreating it just from memory, and recorded everything. And it was then that motivated me to continue, because I actually didn't have any lyrics for that song at the time, but then I wrote it when I started creating it again. And the lyrics are about finding hope when things are bleak, and at the time the pandemic started too, and I thought that was a very fitting kind of. I had so much inspiration to write that song. I guess that's where it started, and from there I just kept going and going. So last year I committed to releasing a song every 6 weeks. That was very draining and very difficult, but I managed to pull through and finish the album. So I don't know, I guess music never really left me. It was just there dormant, waiting to come back, maybe.
It will when someone like you, it will never leave. It's I think you're very much like me. You feel compelled. You are like this conduit. Sometimes, do you ever feel that you're just doing stuff and you're like, where the hell does that come from? How are my fingers moving like that? I mean, if I had fingers like yours, it'd just be like, what is going on? It's like alien fingers. But it must be a wonderful feeling to be able to play like that. Because I don't know how your mind, like I watched a lot of the guitarists that we work with, and I watched yourself, and I'm just like, I have no idea what's going on with that. Is it sort of natural now? And
yeah, maybe.
it is.
I have
That
to
means
practice.
that's a yes.
The things I show, the things I record, they take a lot of practice. If you filmed me right now, I'm gonna be making 1,000 mistakes. So
No, I like that. I like that you can admit that. I mean, I think that. I also think that people are interested in seeing the mistakes of the people that they're watching as well. They actually like to see that people are human. Not that we were ever exalted as being more than human, but we've always. I think that there's been the thing in the past where it's like, don't show too much behind the curtain. And do you think that's sort of changing now? Because I've certainly noticed a shift.
I think so, but I think it also depends on the person and who they are. And for me, I don't hide anything. I let people see the person that I am, and I think it's important to be genuine and authentic and not pretend to be someone you're not. So I guess that.
Let's finish by talking about some of your music videos. And who comes up with like the concepts of that? Do you find a director and do you sort of talk about what you want, or do people come in with ideas?
Yeah, it depends. So it depends on the video. So there's a few videos I've had. I mean, with Leviathan, I had a director. I had a huge team working on it, and they came up with the vision and the concepts of everything for that video, and it was incredible. And there's gonna be a new version of that coming out this Friday, so that's really cool.
Talk me through that. Why new version?
Basically, at the time, the team only had a month to work on that video that's already released. So, and they actually wanted to improve it because they wanted to. And
that's pretty cool, right?
It's really cool. So they added loads of visual effects and new scenes to the already amazing video, and it just looks incredible. I just got the final cut, so yeah, that's coming out on Friday. I'm just very excited about that.
When you're doing these things, I know because you've done a lot of music videos and you've recorded a lot in the past. Do you still get as excited as you did, or you're like, oh, I've kind of done this before, and are you kind of to the job? How does it all sort of make you feel?
It's always been exciting for me.
Yeah,
I haven't felt, whenever I make a new one, I never felt, oh, I have to do it again or anything like that. For me, every time I do it, I'm always, I just want to do it.
That's wicked.
Yeah.
I mean, I really respect your work. I really respect that that you do so much and you take so much on yourself as well. Do you have? I mean, let alone other musicians out there, forget you guys. Do you have any advice for me? What do you think that people should be doing? Tell me your ways. I mean, I'm just interested to sort of know your take on how you see the industry these days and what sort of advice you would give people out there.
Don't do it my way. It's very stressful.
Okay.
I feel that if you are doing it my way, it's okay to delegate a lot of the work, because after all, we're only one person. Or if you don't have a team, if you don't have a band like me, it can get really tough. So, just like choose the right people with the right skills to do certain things that you can't just do on your own. Like,
yeah,
it just gets too much otherwise. So
I think that's very good advice, because I mean, no man is an island, and I think with someone like you whose brain does operate so it's this blessing and a curse, because you go to almost capacity, and then you go just one more thing, just another thing, and then you might get into a state of overwhelm. And I think that's a place where I've been before, and it's not a nice place. Let alone where it's not necessarily a matter of whether or not you can do something. It's more of a matter of whether you should do something, because it's like, can I pick up this weight? Yes. Can I pick up this weight? Can I pick up this weight? Yeah. Can I pick up this weight? Can I pick up all these weights together? No, because then you're just going to be covered in weights, and no one wants to be, covered in weights. But
I'm sure you can handle it.
No, I can handle more than most, but no, it's yeah, you get the metaphor. It's just delegate, and I commend you for doing so much off your own back. I commend you for coming back from feeling that everything was lost, because everything was lost. It was literally taken from you, but in your hands, you're holding the album now, and I just think it's brilliant to see, man. I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you so much.
And I wish you all the success. Do you have any dates that you want to tell the people?
My album is coming out on the 18th of February, this Friday, and we got a show together on the Sunday 20th.
Yeah, man.
Jordan Red, Esprit D'Air, south of Salem, and more dates to be announced, I guess.
I'm really, really looking forward to Sunday, man.
Me too.
Me and Dan, we've been really looking forward. Thanks for letting us play with you as well.
Of course,
it's gonna be a really good one. Appreciate it very much, Kai. Let's leave it there. I could pick your brains for hours and everything, but thanks very much for doing this. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you very soon, everybody.
See you soon.
Take care. Check them out, Esprit D'Air. We'll leave links, etc., all in the description. We'll see you later. Much love. Bye bye.